Hi everyone, this is Erin from Sandpaper Road, and today I'm sharing a design team project for Maymay Made It, and I have created a custom mini craft outfitting pattern specifically for the Maymay Made It design team. But it's not just for the design team to use, everybody has access to it, and it's totally free to use this pattern. It is customized to fit the Brewtiful stamp and die set from MaymayMadeIt.com, and I'm going to leave links below to where you can find these products and also to find full instructions, which are available on the Maymay Made It blog. And this video is going to walk you through all the steps of creating these 5 cards just with 11 sheets of paper and one sitting. It's really fun, so stick around. I'm using the Brewtiful, get it? Brewtiful stamp and die set from Maymay Made It. And this is really cool. Give you a quick look at the stamp set. Lots of neat sentiments. And I actually got it as a stamp and die set together, and the dies cut out all those little individual pieces, parts, especially if you're not into fussy cutting. Okay, we're going to get started right away, starting with step 1 of your pattern. So this is the Echo Park paper, and we're going to select our paper using the Sandpaper Road formula, which really just means that we're going to choose 2 patterns that are the same, 2 that are different from each other and relatively plain, and 2 that are off the chain, just crazy busy patterns, and then we'll choose a light and a dark. So this is, since it's double-sided paper, I love it so much. I mean, I love it so much I can't hardly stand it. But to save time with the video, I did pre-choose my paper from this pattern, and I pulled it out already. This really truly is, though, the greatest paper. I like the texture, I like the thickness, and again, links will be below to all of these products and also on the blog. So like I said, I pre-chose the paper. Let me get situated here. Okay. And just for your sake, if you've never used the Sandpaper Road formula before to choose pattern paper, I made it a little bit easy so that use Post-its, and also I do that when I'm using double-sided paper as well. It just kind of helps me keep my life straight. And I'm going to have my pencil nearby. I'm sure I'm going to need that. So 2 of the same, okay, self-explanatory. Then I chose 2 that are different from each other and that are relatively plain. This one you might think is not so plain, but to me it is relatively plain compared to the other ones. It's just all up to however you perceive it. Different from each other and not a lot going on. I don't want a big thing here. I don't want a lot of big patterns, anything like that. Just different from each other and relatively plain. That was different plain 1 and different plain 2. And then I have 2 that are off the chain. Now see the difference? Woo! This one just makes my eyes go woo! And same with this one. And so this is off the chain 1 and off the chain 2. And that's just what I call them. It's just what I call them. Then a light and a dark. And these all came from that Echo Park paper pad. Now the nice thing is that because they're double-sided, we have lots and lots and lots of choice. So now that they're labeled, now we can, that is essentially step 1 explained. Okay, and you can see that there's notes in the pattern that say, you know, whatever you choose for different plain for this pattern, different plain 2. I think I did make a note in the pattern itself. You do want to make sure that for this pattern, you should be able to stamp on it. So let's say you had another pattern paper or some scraps in mind that you were going to do this with. You don't want to have anything like glittery or something. We're going to do something in this particular pattern. Now that's not true in all different planes and other patterns, but it is for this one. Okay? Now once we have chosen our paper, let's flip over to step 2. We can move this aside and we'll deal with the patterns in a minute. And these are the 3 sheets of the heavyweight alabaster white cardstock, sized 8.5 by 11, and it's by Brewtiful. Also links below. So we're going to cut each of these pieces in half vertically at the 4 1/4 mark. Okay, and you can do this along with me. That's why I'm going to keep this in real time today. All right, 4 1/4. We're going to cut each piece in half, and I'm just following my own instructions here. Okay, and 4 1/4. And then we're going to set one of these halves off to the side. And now we're going to score and fold the remaining 5 halves at the 5 1/4 mark. I'm going to move that blade out of the way. I'm sorry, at the 5 1/2 mark. So right there at 5 1/2. And I'm going to score that and fold it. Let me get this other bone folder here. Okay, and we'll do this with all of them, the ones that we have left. And like I said, I wanted to keep this in real time. A lot of times I speed up my videos just for the sake of the time of the video. But I thought, well, this is a mini, oops. This is a mini craft outfitting pattern, first of all. And second of all, sometimes it's just fun to make things together. Oops, this one didn't get a very good score. I'll use this one. There we go. It's much better. Okay. Oops. And the last one. So let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the 5th card base. All right. Okay. Very nice. Good. Now, so we have our 5 card bases. Those are top folding A2 size card bases. And I'm going to put those off to the side just so they're out of my way. And then we have this one piece left. We're going to actually cut this in half at the 5 1/2 inch mark. Set one of the halves aside. And I'm going to cut this last piece into 5 1/4. 5 1/4. Whoops. How about this way? 5 1/4. 5 1/4. And I'm going to toss out this little scrap by 4. And I'm going to toss out this little scrap. And now I'm going to put a letter P, because I'm going to remember this is a panel. It's not the whole size of the front of a card. It's just the size of a panel. If I don't label it now, I'm going to forget, because I got 2 pieces that are kind of cut like that. Okay, so let's move on to step 3. Isn't this easy? And it's going so quick. You don't even have to think. You just have to follow instructions. So let's locate the off the chain 1. Let's go back here and let's get our off the chain 1. And let's get our different plain 1 and our heart die. Okay. Now when I say heart die, I mean it's meant to, here's the stamp set, and this die here is meant to cut that little part out. Okay. All right, so we've got that. Now for this, just as an FYI, fun tip or whatever. I keep sort of like lids. This is like a yogurt lid or like a little lid of something. I don't know. I just keep them nearby, and that way I can keep like a die that I'm using in it. Someday I'll put a magnetic piece into this. That would be neat, you know, and just give myself a little tray, because otherwise I'll be looking for that. All right, we're going to cut OC1 off the chain one. We're going to cut that in half. I'm going to move this out of the way. Let's cut this in half at the 3-inch mark. All right. We're going to cut it in half. What's, okay. Okay. All right. Good to know. Cut in half at the 3-inch mark. I keep looking at it because I just want to know am I going to be cutting, when I cut it in half, am I going to cut the same way as this stripe? Now I'm looking at this one, but since it has a back, I just kind of want to be mindful for later in case I want to use it later. In half at the 3-inch mark. Alrighty. Then cut one of the 3x6 pieces. Oh, we better make sure that's 3. Okay, not in the directions, but see how the paper had like a little lip with the hole? You can cut that off. Okay, you could save it if you want. I'll put it aside. I don't have anything that I'm going to do with it, but I'll just put it aside. All right, so these are both off the chain one. Cut one of these 3x6 pieces in half at the 3-inch mark. Okay. All right, so this is what we have here. Okay. And now we're going to use the heart die to cut 8 heart shapes out of this 3x6 piece. All right. So what we're going to do is go through and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with this in the Sizzix. Now, it also says that as you arrange the die for cutting, just be mindful of the pattern you're going to make in this sheet. Like, be mindful of the holes. That maybe I want to make it like this, and then maybe I want to turn this one upside down, and then maybe I want to just make a nice, interesting pattern as you cut your 8 heart shapes, okay? So I'm back, and I cut out 8 hearts. Now, I didn't do any stamping. It specifically said not to do any stamping. I just cut out the 8 hearts from that off the chain one, and put them in the yogurt container. That's it. This looks probably to you like a whole lot of nothing, but just stick with it. You will be pleasantly surprised at the end, okay? Next, we're still on step 3, and we're going to use liquid adhesive to adhere this negative space right in the center of different plane 1. All right, right in the center of it, just like that. Now, the reason why it doesn't go all the way across is because I've got this little piece right here. So I'm actually going to leave that, but just do it like that. Look at that. Now, that is just as cute as pie. I know it probably looks a little crazy, and of course, it's going to depend on whatever you chose for your papers. I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid adhesive here. Oops. And stick this down. Maybe. I'm gonna need a, okay, I guess that's not the liquid adhesive I'm gonna use. Let me try this one. Let's see. Okay, yes, that is. And whatever liquid adhesive you like is fine. All right. We're gonna just be pretty generous. Now, if you're trying to do things in some stages where you have some time in between the stages, you know, in time in between the steps, maybe this is one that you could do and then put like a book or something on top of it, leave it and go, I don't know, put dinner in the oven or pick up your kids or whatever, and then come back. Do you know what I mean? Because with liquid adhesive, you kind of want that to sit just a little bit. You know what I'm going to do? I want to take like a rag or something and just press a little bit. That's going to help because I don't have that kind of time to wait. All right, good. That's fine. All right, good. Now, remember that this over here was the different plain one, okay, on that side. So I'm going to keep that sticker there. Now I'm going to use this roll. I call it Maymay tape, but it's a double-sided 50-yard roll of tape that you can get at MaymayMadeIt.com. So I'm going to use the tape actually to trace the inside circle of the tape onto the center back of this, okay? Right onto the center back. Just like that. Then I am actually going to cut it with scissors. Just plain old scissors. Well, I'm using my Tim Holtz scissors, but still. If I could hold the paper. All right. Now, when was the last time you cut with scissors a circle? I think I tend to use dies now, or, you know, if you have a Cricut, you might use it, but there's something to be said about just using these items that you have on your table already. I'm not trying to discount these other things. I love these other things, but sometimes it's just nice to just remember how to do things the traditional way, you know? Okay. Look at that. Neat little circle. Okay. Now, I'm definitely going to make sure that I leave this DP1 on here because I'm going to forget that that's DP1. Alrighty. Now, it says, if desired, you can ink the edges of the circle with some ink and a blending tool if you want. Not everybody likes to do that. I do like to do it. This is just regular Distress ink in Vintage Photo. And I'm just going to go around and I'm going to do it now. The reason why it's in the instructions to do now is because later when you're gluing it down or whatever, you're going to forget. And this will just give it time. Look, and it gives it a nice finished look. Great. Now, let's see. Did we do everything? Because sometimes I skip some steps. Oh, we did skip a step, see? Clear back. We forgot to round all 4 corners of both of these squares. That was clear up a little bit earlier in the step. And so before I move on to the next step, I kind of look back through and make sure that I did everything in the step. So these are these 3x3. I'm so sorry that this is a little bit out of order, but I'm using a corner rounder, and this is just the one that I have to round all of the corners of my off the chain. And maybe you did this already, probably because you were following the directions. There we go. If you don't, for some reason, have a corner rounder, you could just skip that. That's sort of a novelty type item, okay? Not necessarily required. Also, if maybe you don't have a corner rounder, but you have that envelope punch board, that envelope punch board, I think it's from We Are Memory Keepers, has a corner rounder on the end of it. All right, now I think we are good here. Use the Maymay tape to adhere the circle to the bottom left of the white card panel labeled P. See, aren't we glad we did that? There's the card panel labeled P. Now, obviously, I'm not going to use that side. But I'm going to adhere this to the bottom Now, if there was a line in the circle, if for some reason, maybe some of when I was cutting it, you know, maybe some of the line got on the circle, what I would want to do is line that line up to the bottom, and that way I could trim that off as excess, okay? But for now, I'm just going to use this, just some pieces of the, I call it the Maymay tape, okay, just to adhere that circle. It's really strong tape too. If you've not, I mean, I'm sure we've used lots of double-sided tapes before, but this, I actually happen to really like this tape a lot. It's nice and strong. All right, so here we go. Bottom left of the white card panel labeled P. And trim off the excess. And we will throw that out. Good. Very nice. So I'm going to put all of these things off to the side, these little pieces. See how that label is really important. If you're using single-sided papers, you could just write it on the back, but yeah. So let's put all these pieces aside. And let's move on to step 4. Let's locate one of the same pieces, one of the 3x3 rounded squares that we just had, right? A card base, and the remaining scrap of DP1. Alrighty. Move that out of my way. Move that out of my way. Okay. We're going to cut the same at the 4-inch mark. Get this out of my way. We're going to cut the same at the 4-inch mark. Alrighty. And then we're going to turn, now I'm going to go like this. Okay. Then we're going to turn the 4x6-inch piece and cut again at the 5 1/4. I'll stick this over here with that because they're both the same. And then we're going to adhere this panel to the card base with the Maymay tape. It should fit perfectly. Maybe I'm going a little bit overboard with the tape. I'm not sure, but I just can't help myself. And if you're crafting along with me, maybe it's just right at the same pace as you're going as well. Sometimes I get nervous that going in real time is a little bit boring. Oops. But some people like it. And if you're like my son's plural, they just skip ahead. Okay. Adhere this panel with Maymay tape. Now, I am going to say this right here before I do this. If you have any interest at all in inking the edges, of course, I do have an interest before I do it, and I should have done it when it was flat, but that's too late. Now, you don't have to be so regimented to stick. I mean, there's freedom within these patterns, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to give that a quick ink just because I want to. I don't even think it's in the pattern. I just think it would look good. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, that looks real nice. See what a difference that makes. Okay, good. Now I lost my place. We're going to put that off to this side with these. I'm just going to get it out of my way. Find a good edge of different plane 1 and cut a 1-inch wide strip. Perfect. Well, I see this is a pretty good edge right here. And if I can get it to the one, yep, a 1-inch strip. All right. And then it says that if I can use scissors to notch one end of the strip. Oh, right. Notch one end of the strip. Right. This is a free form, okay? Just literally don't take it real seriously and then toss that out. All right. Now, oh, we should ink that if desired, it says. Well, I desire to ink it. I just like the way that looks. And it's hard to do later. You ever look at something and it's already adhered down and finished off and you're like, I can't really do much with it now. So, yeah. Yeah, that looks good. It just makes it pop a little bit. All right. Gets my table a little inky, but that's fine. Okay, now, if you can get another 1-inch strip out of DP1, do so. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Another 1-inch strip out of DP1, yes. Absolutely. Like that. Let's do that. As a matter of fact, just for no reason, I'm going to try to get even another strip out of DP1. Okay? This one. That's a little short strip. A short nothing strip. Now we're going to discard the rest of this. And don't feel any type of way about it. And now we've got our different plain one strips, which now look like this. This one was optional. I just did it. Okay. All like that. Now what? Now we are going to adhere the 3x3 square in the upper right portion of the card on top of the same panel. I think I'm done cutting for the moment. If not, I'll just bring that back. Okay. That looks real good. Whoops. I could probably use another little bit more. I just don't want a loose corner, you know, or something. Now, the benefit of having some double-sided paper is that here you can choose. I mean, it's double-sided paper. If it was my first time ever working with a pattern like this, I might follow it just the way it says first. But maybe the second time you do it, maybe experiment, you know, with which pattern you like better or whatever, you know. Okay, there's the upper right corner on the same panel, and then here one of the notch strips. Well, I guess there's only one, huh? Vertically, just like that, over the top in the upper right corner. See, that looks great. Look at that notch strip like that. That looks great. Not everybody would like such a busy pattern. I think it looks amazing. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go like that. And then go like this, because I think that this top part's gonna get cut off anyways. Okay, just like that, right over the top. Okay. And let's trim off any excess and throw that out. Now we're going to take blending tool and ink if you want, and ink the outside edges of the whole card, just if you want, just to give it a little, just a little oomph. You don't have to. You could change the ink color if you wanted to. I don't feel like getting another color out, so that's good for me right there. Excellent. That looks good already. Okay, we're going to set that aside. Remember, we've got these. This is what you should have. Again, you might not have this little baby strip of different plain one, but we've got funny strips of same, a bigger and a small. And then from this step, and then you've got these, and then your card start. So let's keep it moving. All right, let's keep it moving. Step 5 is let's locate the piece of dark paper. 2 strips of the same. Well, strips, okay, that's fine. The 1-inch wide strips of DP1. The other 3x3 rounded square. That was our OC1. Okay, and a card base. Now we're going to cut a panel from the dark paper. This panel is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. So let's go, let me move this. 4 inches, what's on the back? Ooh, okay. 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm going to keep those together. Trim down the remaining dark strips to, to 3 inches long. I should have done that. Well, let me get out my smaller trimmer. What did I do with it? There we go. Let me get out the smaller trimmer. That's the panel. It says to trim down the remaining dark strips to 3 inches and round the corners. So I've cut that down to 3 inches. And I'm just going to round the corners. Now, again, if you don't have a corner rounder, don't worry about it. You can just skip that step. I don't know if you heard in that, this is a side note, but I don't know if you heard in the last clip when I first started that, my oven timer went off. That was so embarrassing. So if you were wondering what that beeping was, it definitely was not on your end. It was on my end. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is already less than 3 inches. So, but guess what? This would have been, I should have cut that little circle thing off first. All right, well, we'll cut it to 3 inches and deal with that later. Okay. Is it? From the, trim down the remaining dark strips to 3 inches long and round the corners. 3 inches long. Well, we cut a 4-inch panel, so technically it would be a 4x6, right? So maybe what we'll do is get rid of that, because that will mess me up. I just cut that little hole off, and now we can cut it to 3 inches long. There we go. That is a little bit better to me. So now we've got 2 little 3-inch dark rectangles, and we're going to round the corners there of these rectangles. But again, if you don't have the corner rounder, don't sweat it. I think sometimes we just forget about our corner rounder. Okay. All right, good. Now we shouldn't need to see this little dark strap. Scrap strip. How about that? We were just going to throw that out. Okay. So we have all these darks right here. Okay. Good. Get him out of the way. Use the Maymay tape to adhere the strips of the same and the DP1 strips of the same and the DP1 to the dark panel. Experiment with the look of the front and back patterns. Okay, I like that kind of stuff. So here we have the panel, and we're going to just put this on here. Neat. We can get rid of these for now, because it seems we are done with them. Very neat. Experiment with the look of the front and back patterns. Adhere the 3x3 rounded square in a diamond shape on top of the strips. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to adhere the strips of the same. Let's go horizontally, okay? Because I see that this guy use Maymay tape. Adhere the 3x3 rounded square. That's that. That's the only 3x3 rounded square we've got. So we're going to need him. So let's put this. What if we went like this? No, let's go like this. But that hole is bothering me. Should we go like this? No, we'll go like that. That's the way I want to do it. That is the way I want to do it. And by the way, oh, look. Okay, so on the back, I have wedding cake. Well, I don't think I'm trying to do that kind of card today. Not today. Yeah, not today. Let's see. Okay. Now we've got this other same strip, right? Look at that. And it's just that wide. That looks really good. A little bit too long, goodness. Very good, very good. Yeah, that looks nice like that. I just want just a smidgen of that dark showing. Okay. Now, let me get rid of this. It's distracting me. Cut off the other side. And a little bit of that because I went up overboard a little bit. Okay. Get rid of that. And then, oh yeah, that looks good there. Now why would I do it if I'm going to cover it up? Ooh, that looks good like that. It's a little crooked. That's okay. That'll look good. Maybe I want it more like, no, I liked it down like that. I thought it looked fine like that. Oops. Okay. Yeah, if it, you know, and it's funny because I made this pattern, and when I tell myself to experiment, I really experiment. It's not necessarily, it's vague for a reason. You know, some things will say a specific measurement for a reason, but other things won't. So take advantage of that that freedom there. Oh, that's nice right there. Yeah, that's nice right there. We'll do that. Ooh, look, I didn't even see that. I might do that. Yeah, I think I'm going to actually do that, only because I don't think I'm going to have that anywhere else. Cool. Yeah, really neat. All right, last minute decision there. That's pretty cool. Cut that off. You know. Now, if I was, I mean, I could save these strips right here, these pieces. Aw, look, a little car. See, I could save that if I wanted to, but I don't. Okay. Now we are going to take this panel and put this, what's on the back? Ooh, neato. Look at that, cool. But that's not what I want. I want it to look like that. And it's gonna go in a diamond shape right on top of the card panel. Isn't this easy? Probably the most challenging part. Don't spend too long on step 5, you know, trying to make decisions. Just get them down. Just get them down and keep it stepping. And don't get too hung up about, oh, this line is crooked, or I didn't cut this straight, or whatever. Remember, you're essentially making the base of a card. Okay, we haven't even gotten to the focal point yet. Everything can be trimmed down. Everything can be trimmed down. If you know, if you've created a disaster, you know, which is impossible. You can always, I mean, if you get so hung up about it, you know, you could go like this and just trim off like the tiniest, minuscule quarter of an inch, you know, smidgen of an inch, and no one will ever know. Okay? And again, you may not even have this little piece here, so yours may look totally different. Then it says to adhere the panel to the card base. Look at that. Isn't that just wonderful? That really is wonderful. Just wonderful. Whoops. Okay. Now normally craft outfitting patterns are not quite this small. Small meaning, oops, I almost forgot to pull that off. When I make a pattern, I make it so that you end up with usually 4 12 by 12 scrapbook pages and 12 cards. But it's all this, that's why I called this a mini craft outfitting pattern, because it's just, you sit down and you end up with 5 cards. Simple. Okay, we're gonna set this card aside for now. And we're gonna move on to step 6. Now it's time to do some stamping. So we're gonna locate our stamps and our stamping ink, and I'm gonna use Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And here's the stamp. Now you can use an acrylic block. Your stamp positioner is gonna be your best bet for this kind of thing. Although I'm gonna use a stamping block maybe for part of it. The stamping positioner I have is the Tim Holtz one. It's just the one that I have. I actually got it as a Christmas gift. So that's the one I use. And let's see, locate one of the same pieces. Aha. Okay, one of the same pieces. We're actually going to stamp a teacup in the upper left corner of the same piece. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? No, it's not going to matter. It's not. I was going to take a second and cut that hole out, but it's not going to matter. All right, so let's get this teacup. This, I don't even want to say it's well loved. It's just I haven't been able to put this stamp set down for a few days. So you'll have to excuse me because the stamps may be everywhere. We're going to stamp in the upper left corner, leaving about a 1/4 inch margin. Alrighty. This is the ink I'm choosing to use. Of course, you could use archival ink or just I suppose whatever stamping ink you have around. Okay. Stamps really, 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 really good the first time. Just because I'm just going over that again. Then we're going to turn the paper a quarter turn and stamp again in the new upper left corner. And just for because, I'm going to do it again. All right. Now we're going to stamp. Let me get this teacup out of my way. So I'm gonna this is just a baby wipe. And let's move this. And it says to locate the white heavyweight cardstock piece. This is it's the one that we cut that is not a card base and was not a panel. Okay, we should have that one piece left, right? So we're gonna stamp a teacup and marshmallows and the sentiment warmest wishes. All right. Oh, good thing I didn't take the teacup off of there because I need another one, huh? Okay, there's a teacup. Look how good, just first time. Really, really good stamps. Look at that, crispy and clean. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. And let's get that out of the way. And what else did we need here? The marshmallows. Where are the marshmallows? Oh yes, the marshmallows. The marshmallows. I think I'm gonna put the marshmallows over here, actually. Actually, no, I don't. No, I don't. I think I'm gonna put them down here. And then I'll put warmest wishes right here. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay. I just want to make sure I have enough room to die cut. That's all. That's all I'm trying to do. This ink, by the way, this Memento ink is alcohol marker friendly. Just as an FYI. Much better. Yeah, that looks good. Real nice. Look at that. Okay, great. So I have die cut out the two. I die cut out the two teacups from the same pattern paper and then all of the items from this piece of white. Don't you know that what I had to do is re-stamp those marshmallows because when I was die cutting the die, I didn't tape it down and I thought it was being slick, and it was being slick, literally. It just slid right off. So yeah, I had to do that. And then let's see, we're still on step 6. And it says to use a mini ink blender or a cotton swab and some distress ink. I only said that because if you already have distress ink out, then you could probably do that. Let me just show you how to do it on, I'll show you on this one, okay? Now you can, again, they make mini blenders. They're actually really nice. But if you don't have one, you could really use, you could get away with using, it's not the greatest, but you could get away with using a cotton swab just like that. Okay, like I said, it's not the greatest. You might find better luck with pouncing. You might find better luck with cotton swabs that are not generic. And also, you could use the distress markers. You could use markers or colored pencils if you wanted, but that's basically how you're gonna do it. As a matter of fact, I have some colored pencils right here. I think they're watercolor pencils. Yeah, they are. So I think what I'm gonna do, actually, let's just go in like this, because because Distress ink is also water-based, and so it will react with it will react when I use like a blending pencil also, and I think that'll look kind of good. Just a variety of colors, and these are just Sargent Art watercolor pencils, and I'm using a Purolene cookie thing for storage. Nothing fancy. And this is a water pen, although where is a blending pen? Oh well, I'm just use a water pen. Water pen. Okay, yeah, that's good. Yep. Here we go. And there's one. Now that was kind of a lot of detail for just one. Let me try markers on this one. These are Spectrum Noir markers, just what I have. There's some dark. And I'll just use, normally I use 3 colors, but maybe I won't today. I don't know. Well, this one needs re-inked. Like a lot. And then let's see, adhere the marshmallows to one of the same teacups. We'll just kind of move on, okay? Do I have some liquid glue? Yes, I do. Okay. On one of the same teacups. Ooh, this is kind of, I kind of want to give that a little bit of a trim before I put it on the teacup. There, like that. I don't have to, but I kind of just wanted to. Or, you know what I should have done? I should have cut a slit. I totally should have done that. Cut a slit right here in the teacup and then just slid the marshmallows in. That would have been good. Okay, well, so far, I think I kind of like the colored pencil look. So just for the sake of, because I like that look, I think I'll go in with my colored pencil here on this one. There. All right, real nice. You could use a metallic pen or colored pencil, markers, whatever. Okay, and stamp the heart shape onto 3 of, the next thing is to stamp the heart shape onto 3 of the heart die cutouts. All right, so let's choose 1, 2, and let's choose one that's going another way. Can I find one that's going the other way? Did I stamp them all this, or did I cut them all the same way? Okay. That will be fine. 1, 2, 3. I guess the only other way to go would be to go like that. All right. So wherever this heart stamp is, okay. Oh, wait a second. I can't do that because it won't match. I have to do it that way, or it won't match the stamp. I would like to push this down a little bit firmer. There I go. Okay. Now I know you can't see that too well, maybe. Actually, I've probably used my handy dandy film editor to zoom in by this point, so maybe you can see it just fine. I'll go like that. Maybe you can even see it better. There. Yeah, you might not be able to see it too well on this paper that I chose, But here's the thing. I may not have chosen the same paper you chose. You see? So let's say you want to use this on different paper. Well, I have to be mindful of that. Where is a baby wipe? There we go. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to step 7. We're going to get started with step 7. So we need to locate OC2, that's off the chain 2, and the light paper, and one dark rounded edge rectangle piece. Okay, one of these, and a card base. Looks pretty good. We're going to cut a 4" by 5 1/4 panel from that OC2. So let's get this out of the way. This does have a little hole. I'm also going to get those out of the way. Let me cut this off. We're going to cut a 4" by 5 1/4 panel. 4 inches. I have to remember that this is off the chain 2 by 5 1/4. I just put these together for a second. I'm going to cut a 3 1/2 by 4 3/4 panel from the light. First, let me get this off here. It's really bugging me. So I'm going to cut this at 6 just to get that hole out of the way. We're going to cut a 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. 3 1/2. 3 1/2. Where is that? Oh, 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. 4 3/4. It's like right there. All right. As if I don't know that's the light paper, but I just like to do that for me. Okay. Now we're going to lay, not yet adhere, the light panel on top of that off the chain panel. That looks great. But since we're working with double-sided paper, I see why we're going to lay it, okay? And lay one dark rounded edge rectangle vertically in the upper right portion of the light paper. Now the great thing about this is that this looks great the way it is. If you are using double-sided paper, as we are here, then we can actually experiment with the look of the way we want this card to look. Look at that. I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities. A lot. So that is up to you. I'm going to stick to what the pattern is saying at the moment. We're going to continue and take this small strip of the light colored paper and we're going to stamp the dish. Now for time's sake, I got it ready. And I know this video is running long, but I also know that some of you might just be crafting right alongside. So I love the way that stamps. So since we're already, we're going to die cut that out, and we're going to discard the remainder of this piece after we die cut it. And since we're already going to be die cutting with the dish die, we're going to take this larger strip of this off the chain 2 right here, and we're going to cut 2 dish. Let me get the die and show you. we're going to be placing the die on the, let me show you on this side of the OC. Okay, can you see it? Along the edge, one here and one here. We're not going to stamp that first though. You could, but it's not necessary. Okay, then after that, we'll continue on. Now we're going to take one of the teacups that we had from before and adhere it. Remember, this is the one we're working with. So we're going to adhere it on top of one of the dishes, on one of these dishes. It really doesn't make a difference which one. Ooh, and we could do it like this or like this. We could do it like this or like this. I know I said I was going to do it different, but look at that. Ooh, very nice. Let's do that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That looks so good. That looks so good. Now we're going to, it says to experiment with the look, arrangement of this card, and we're going to choose a sentiment to stamp right here on this vertical bottom. Okay, so we're going to put this up a little bit and find a sentiment to put on this vertical bottom. And let me get this, put the dish back. Okay, so I'm going to use my Stampin' Platform, and I'm going to put this down here. Okay, and I'm going with the warmest wishes. There was some discrepancy there, I have to say. I was being indecisive for some reason. So, yeah. Okay. This will be just fine. You know, in hindsight, I probably could have done this in white ink or like an embossing ink and then used like an embossing powder, but that looks actually pretty good the way that is. So I'll just do it one more time. Yeah, that looks fine. I'm pleased with that actually. And if you would have seen what I went, I don't know, would you ever just have those indecisive moments? I was just being difficult with myself. All right, there we go. That's very nice. I feel like I might need that later, so that's why I just left it. Okay, so let's assemble here. Our cup and dish. What happened to my panel? Oh, did I decide to do that? Well, here, what's the dish doing on the other side? It kind of looks nice. The cup and the dish on top. Nope. We're gonna do this like that. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Just like that. Warmest wishes. That looks great. So we'll assemble that. I should have done that the other way. Well, this I'm going to use some tape. There we go. Now why, there, it's a little piece, just a little piece like that. Look at him trying to curl back up because I used that wet adhesive. Okay. Now I could have used foam tape for the teacup. That would have been neat. But you know what still would be cool is if I use some kind of fun foam or something like that for the I could do it for the whole thing. I could pop this whole panel up. And now we are going to adhere all pieces to the panel. You know what? What I need to do is do the panel to the panel. If I did it in the reverse order, then I'll have a funny, it's going to be funny. I really like working with this double-sided paper. It really makes the pattern have just, it just makes it have so many combinations and possibilities. Just like this, for example. Now, you know what you could do right here? If you wanted to, before, of course I think of it while it's all sticky on the back, but this would be the time to like ink the edges right here if you wanted to put that down. I'm not going to do that, but I could. Oh, look at this. This is just amazing. You know what? I think I do. I wonder if I do want that like that. Maybe I just do want that like that. Okay. And now we're going to take 2 of these stamped, where's the stamped little hearts? How many? 2 of the stamped hearts, and put these on. Now this you could put on with like a glue dot or some, however you want to do it. That looks really good. Yeah, that looks really good. I'm just going to use a little bit of the, I so call this Maymay tape. And we're going to put 2 of them to use as accents. I feel like putting one right here, and I feel like putting my other one right down here. Aww. Oh my goodness. Just the panel. We haven't even put it on the card yet. Now we're gonna put it on the card. Yeah. So I won't show on video me taping it to the card, but this is how it'll go. Oh, I so love that. But I will, do you know what I want to do? See, I'm glad I did it this way, because I am going to ink the outside edges of this right there. Now, I bet you that if I had this turned around that way, I wouldn't have done it. But because it's turned this way, I just think it needs it. That looks really good. Yeah, that looks super good. Look. Wonderful. Oh, I love the way that looks. All right, I'll put this on the card and then we'll continue on to the next step. Next, we're going to stamp the teapot here onto our different plane too. Now, normally I would cut that off, that whole part, but I decided since this is mainly like a die piece, and because I know it's coming, I can let you know that you don't need to do that. But it does say that we're going to try to get close to one edge of the paper and as close as possible to each other. Now we do need to leave some room for the die to actually cut out the image, but we're gonna get 2 of them, 2 teapots here. Okay. That could be a little bit better. Okay, now I am taking that off because I can choose what I want to do here. This is my project, so I'm going to, and it's your project when you do it. So I want them fairly close together, like that, and then I also leave room for the die. So I'm just going to go ahead and move the stamp. Some people would rotate the paper, and you could do that, absolutely. But I kind of want to leave this bottom part of the paper as big of a piece as possible. Okay. Good, that's stamped really, really good. All right, good. Now, while we have it here, while we have the paper there, let's see. I'm gonna move the stamp out of the way, and what in the world happened to, there it is. Okay. We want the Brewtiful word in the teapot. Now I could also add the UR up above here. There's lots of possibilities, and it's up to you. I could also add the little tea bag or the, you know what I mean? But I'm just for now, I'm gonna add just this. Okay, the Brewtiful. I could change the ink color if I wanted. Oh, that looks good. That looks good just like that. Okay. And now let me stick this over here. I know that some people just would move the paper, like I said, but I'm just trying to do something with positioning. Okay. I think it needs one more. Oops. Yeah, there, that's nice. All right. I think I will add the UR. That's nice. Yes, I think I will add the UR. If I can't very well read upside down. Oh, you are so. You are so Brewtiful. Isn't that such a nice sentiment? Let's go like that. Right like that. That is perfect. Nice font. Good. And to the other side. That is great. Really, really great. I am now gonna cut this out with the die. Now, if you're doing it this way, certainly there is plenty of room for you to add. There is the cutest little tea bag on here. There is I might add those then before the final pictures, before the final show and tell. But just for the pattern's sake, we've got this as the rest of our different plain number 2, okay? And so it says to adhere 1 teapot to the card with the vertical notch strip from step 4. That would be this. Where's the Maymay tape? Now you could use some, like I said before, you could use some foam tape if you want, you know, just to get the look and feel that you want. After we stick this down, we're going to get 1 stamped heart die cut shape and 1 non-stamped heart die cut shape. Okay. Look at that. And here we have a die cut shape. Or this one doesn't have a stamp. Where's the one that does? Aha. Yep. Okay, good. See, I knew I put them somewhere. Here's one with a stamp, and here's one without. That looks so good. Oh my goodness sakes. Ooh, except this non-stamped needs a little bit of ink out here. There we go. Just a quick little burst of ink for that one that didn't have a stamp on it. I don't think your pattern said to do that. That's just me being me. Okay. Oh my goodness, I love this. And I want it to look like this. So we're going to, I want it to look like this. Do I? Like that. And then up like that. Now you can put sentiments inside the card. You can do, you know, whatever you wanted inside the card, whatever. But this, just for this pattern, look at that. That is so great. I love it. This card is done. Love it, love it, love it. So cool. It totally needs one of those tea bags and accents right there. But I wouldn't put it right on there. I'd do it with a scrap. I'd wait to the end and see what scraps of pattern paper I had left over, and then I'd stamp and die cut and then hang it off there so it's coming out of the teapot. That looks so good. Then it says to put the other teapot on this card. This one, the diamond square card. Just like that. That looks outrageous. Now that, to me, where I thought I had a roll of foam tape, that one really does, to me, need a little bit of foam tape. Why, you ask? Because I like the way the busy patterns look. Uh-oh, I'm getting out of my foam tape. I like the way the busy patterns look with each other. And when you're working with busy pattern, with busy pattern, with busy pattern, you can get away with that if you let dimension be your border. So we're just going to give it a little bit of dimension, right? Like that. That looks so good. Yep. Look at that. Wonderful. That one's done too. I totally want to do some like Nouveau drops or something right there. And accents with the other stamps at the end. It looks so good. We're going to move on to the next step. Okay, we are on to step 9. This is the fun step. Okay, I've got my this piece here, the off the chain with the 2 dishes cut out. I've got the same with the 2 teacups cut out, and I've got the light paper here. That's what we have left of it. Now your instructions say to fold, tear, distress, and roll back the top long edge. And if you've never done that, you know, you could do it with a pen to kind of get it going. I find that always a nice tear is helpful. Okay, so we're just going to do that. Fold, distress, tear, and roll back. We're just trying to create a rolled edge. Now, also, it's helpful too. I personally think it's helpful to just spritz a little bit of water and then use like a pen to sort of help it, okay? It's not going to necessarily be in this bulky shape, and when it dries, it'll stay put. And I love, love, love using double-sided paper for this technique because you've got, you can see the pattern on the other side. It's so great. Don't worry about it being straight. We're also going to do this on the piece of the same. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and tear right there. Tear that off. I don't think I'm going to throw it away just yet, and that never was anything down there at the bottom, so I'll just tear that off right there at the bottom. Can fix that later on. Let me get just a light coat of just a little bit of water to help it. Oh, that looks so good. Now, do you know what I see here? I see wedding cakes on the other side of this paper. So I think what I'll do is make this a wedding card just to have on hand. As a matter of fact, I already know whose wedding this will be for. All right, that's going to be great. And then also on this piece of off the chain, same thing. This one might be a little bit trickier only because it's so small. So if anything, you'll definitely need if you're going to use water, you probably will need it on this. Let's just try to make it just a little bit tighter of a roll. There we go. Really good. Now you could also, let's see. It says to ink if desired. That is up to you. You know me, I probably will because I can't stand it. As a matter of fact, I think I will right now. Just a little bit right there. And just a little bit right there. And just a little bit right there. I just love it. More to come. All right, now we're going to adhere all these distressed rolled edge pieces on top of each other. And I'm going to use the Maymay tape. And it's funny how they're already sizes, like you can tell which one goes where. Now I don't need to go crazy with the tape because we're going to be trimming this to fit. It's only going to cover like the bottom third of a card base. So let me just do one at a time here. Okay. I want the rolls to kind of be close to each other like that. All right. That looks good. And because I had sort of a raggedy edge here at the bottom, maybe I'll make this pink the edge. How about that? Could I? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. We'll just see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. Okay, I've got this here. We're going to trim this to a panel size 4 inches wide. So we're going to trim this off, and I've removed the little bar here from my Creative Memories trimmer, and because otherwise I'd never get that on there like that. I just want to trim off just a side of this. Now what I'm going to do is line up, because it's got a grid, so I'm lining up the bottom along the grid. Okay, like that. Now I'll fix this up. Yeah, see, I needed that to happen. Okay, good. Now it's not 4 yet, but look, now I can put this on the 4. See? All right, watching my fingers, being very careful of my fingers. There we go. I love this trimmer. This is what we call a vintage tool. Yeah, it's great. Ooh, okay. All right, so we should have one card base. Oh, I guess we have 2 that we haven't done anything with. All right, so we're gonna adhere this to the card base. Alrighty, looks pretty good. Hopefully you're enjoying this pattern. This is my favorite way to craft. I do it for myself all the time. I've made a few patterns and there's a few more on the way, and I just love to do it like this. I love to just sit and do, I mean, you call it mindless crafting. It's not too mindless because you have to think, but I don't have to think about this kind of stuff. I could just enjoy the process. I love it. All right, so that's our bottom half. Now look at that. Now for time's sake, I did already adhere. I found the dark cardstock small rounded rectangle, and I did adhere, well, I didn't adhere it yet, but I adhered the teacup and the light cardstock dish to the dark rounded rectangle. And now we're gonna, this is gonna go like right here, okay? Or if we wanted to add a sentiment, see, I didn't have too much of the rolled stuff, so I could put it here. I could add a sentiment here if I wanted. That actually is kind of a good idea. I might do that, but I might just do this like this. Actually, I think I'll do that. Okay. And we'll get that on there. That looks pretty good. I love using these. I love using patterns because it takes me out of a rut. You know, sometimes you get into a thing where you're always doing the same type of thing, and then when you want to do something different, guess what you end up doing? The same kind of thing. Be mindful when you're adhering this down that you've got the same edge of border right here. You don't want it to be clear over or something like that. Just keep it consistent. Now, I know you've got stuff at the top, but we can always add Nouveau drops, or we'll do something here. I've got the tea bag let's see, the tea bag and spoon, it says, to stamp onto DP2 and cut out. Where is DP2? Right here. All right. So we'll stamp this onto here, cut this out, and then we can adhere it to the teacup. We can really jazz up this teacup. There's all kinds of things. There's a little candy cane here. There's, let's see. There's all kinds of little sentiments. Okay, so what happened to my ink? Oh, here it is. All right, so I'm just going to use an acrylic block and my Memento ink. We've got lots of DP2 to work with, but I want to make sure I have enough for my die. Yeah, look at that. We'll do a tea bag. And then what is the other one, the spoon? I think it was. Yeah, and the spoon. Spoon is not really, you might be thinking spoon. Well, the stirrer. That's so cute. There we go. That looks nice. Uh-oh. Yeah, There we go. That looks nice. All right, well, I'll die cut that out. So these pop out really nice from the dies, really easy. They die cut really well. I didn't even need to go over it twice. And this is the little stir stick. Look how it'll go right there. That is so cute. I cannot stand it. Lots of possibilities there. You could just glue it down like that. I'm actually going to trim off the bottom right here. You know what I'm going to do though? Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my fingernail, or yeah, right like that, over where the edge is of the cup. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And then on my fingernail mark, I can see where to snip it. Maybe on my fingernail. Oh yeah, I can see it. Like that. See? And now when I go back, I can lay it right, and that's how I want it. All right, good. And I think the same thing here. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. I'm not going to do anything with that because I just like the way that looks. Oh my goodness. These are incredibly cute. Incredibly cute. All right, a little liquid adhesive here. So awesome. Yeah, that's great. I need a little bit of pressure. Okay. And liquid adhesive here. Oh well. And how did I have that? Just like that. That is adorable. That is so adorable. I think on my other ones that I did when I was making the pattern in the first place, I think I cut that off. This so it just looked like it was dangling, but I like the way it looks like that. I think that looks cool. All right, super. So neat. I love how this rolls like that. Neat. And I like the wedding cake thing. All right, so if we wanted to add a sentiment, we could. I might not. I might just leave it and put the sentiment on the inside. But definitely sure, I'm going to ink the edges for sure. And I might even add a little bit of spatter just because. Maybe I'll show you how to do that if you wanted. I mean, spatter is spatter, but still. Okay. Ink around the edges of the card. I love that. This, because of its rolled dimension, you would have to be mindful if you're going to send this in the postal mail that it's going to ask you for extra postage. Now, if you're just giving this as a gift, no issues, but still. Let me just show you some spatter, okay? So this is a spatter trick, and you can use any ink you have. If you already have an acrylic block, this is not my idea. I don't know. I'm trying to think. It might be Christina Werner. It might be. I don't know where this. I think it is Christina Werner, honestly. Okay, and a little bit of water. And where's my paintbrush? Okay. And now, because I don't want spatter there, I am going to cover that up. This is just like a wash rag or something that I have. Okay. Cover that up. And then just drag off like this off the acrylic block. Okay. It's really, really easy, and it gives you a little bit of a controlled spatter. And then all you have to clean up, you can take this off, wipe that up, and you're done. Okay. And that looks really good. And then you don't have any spatter on your teacup. And that's, I didn't even put that in the instructions. It's just optional. I like that kind of look. So that's how I did that. And if it's too much, you know, you can dab it off. And okay. Very nice. We can add a sentiment inside if we wanted, but other than that, this card is done. Okay, we're on to the final step, and we're almost done. So we've got the card panel with the circle adhered to the bottom corner. We'll be working with this panel in this whole next step. We're going to hand tear the remaining part of this DP2, this different plane 2, into the largest possible piece. Hand tearing is a lot easier, I find, since we've got all these cutouts. So let's get this into the largest possible piece that we can, which looks like that, okay? And I'm gonna throw that out, I think, and then we're going to trim this piece into a 3" by 2" or as large as possible as we can get. All right, so I think I'm going to use this trimmer to do so. We've got, oh, look at that. I can get 3. Well, it's 3 there. I don't know if it'll go all the way across. Let's see here. Maybe we can do the 2 all the way across. Is that good? 3" by 2". Oh yeah, because we could get, let's do 2 inches this way. How about that? And now let's do 3 inches this way. Oh yeah, we could do that easily. Look at that. Now if you can't, if you don't have that much left over for some reason, just do the best you can. Just get as close to those dimensions as you can. No issues, okay? Now I'm going to throw out those other scraps. Here, now I'm going to round the corners. Even if you have a little bit of a cutout on this piece, just go ahead and just keep at it. We're going to round these corners. All right. And now we're going to locate the dark cardstock strip with the rounded corners right here. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped something. Adhere vertically to the top right of the card panel. The rectangle will overlap the circle a little bit. Oh yeah, I definitely need to do that. So I skipped a big step, didn't I? Don't want to do that. I don't think I want the cars. I could, but I don't think I want that on this card. Although neat choices on double-sided paper. Okay. Oops. I probably don't need quite so much of this Maymay tape. It's pretty sticky as it is. All right, there we go. It's going to overlap the circle just a little bit. Adhere vertically to the top right card of the panel. It'll overlap the circle. Next, trim strip of OC2. Oh boy, I made a huge thing. Trim the strip of OC2 into 3 inches. I skipped way ahead, huh? My bad. My bad. Here's our OC2 strip. Let's trim it to 3 inches. Okay. And round the corners. I took it with me. There we go. Look at it on both sides. That's so cute. That's so cute. Okay. Locate the dark. Now here we are with rounded corners. Adhere it horizontally at the bottom of the rounded corner rectangle. It will overlap the circle and it will hang off the right edge a little. Okay, just like that. Nice. Okay. And lay the OC2 rounded corner strip underneath and slightly right of the dark cardstock strip, leaving about a 1/4 inch or so space between. Now, do I want it like this or like this? Ooh, definitely like that. Before you adhere, make sure the left edge of the OC strip lines up with the left edge of this strip. So all I'm trying to keep you mindful of is this right here. I want it to, this strip, when you put down, line up with this pink square. Okay, like that. That'll look good like that. Oops, and of course then I did it. And you can do it, you can have this strip up. That would look good too. but I want it like that. Alrighty. Before you adhere, make sure the left edge, adhere, trim off the excess. Just for me, I'm going to put my ruler there and go like that. Adhere, trim off the excess. Toss that. Alrighty. Locate 4 die cut hearts and adhere them to the top left space of the card. This is where it gets fun. This is where it gets fun. Look at that. That is where it gets fun for me. Because, check this out. We filled up that space. What you've done is created some continuity here, because, and you weren't even trying to do it. Because look at the heart cutouts are here. Then they're replaced here. And it continues up. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I think I'm going to use some liquid for that. But again, I could use the Maymay tape. I just think this is just a little bit quicker at the moment. Okay. Plus, if you're doing this in stages, then you can set your, if you're using a wet glue, you can set it down to dry, like put a book on it or something, and then go do something else. Come back, take the book off, and it's nice and flat and dry. Okay. Really, really nice. Allow the hearts to hang off the left and top edges, and also to overlap the DP2 a little. Yep, that's just what we did. Trim off the excess. Whoops. Just like so. That's a great card panel. Real interesting. Then adhere the OC2 die cut dish. The die cut dish onto the rectangle just above the circle. We could do it like this. That looks good. Oh yes, definitely. Because that brings this up into play. Definitely, definitely. This I will use a little Maymay tape though. Just a bit. Just above the dish. I don't want it to, I kind of want to create that same amount of space right here and right here, but I have to be mindful that I'm on the center of the panel. I don't want it to look weird. There we go. There's the dish. Uh-oh. I may have done that too soon. Ooh. Hold on, because I know the cup's going to go on top. But see, it can hang off just a bit, so I think I was good the way I was. Okay, and then adhere the teacup, or in this case, it's maybe the hot chocolate cup, right? Because we put marshmallows on it. I don't know, maybe you put marshmallows in your tea. I am not much of a tea drinker. Maybe if I'm sick or something, but not just for because. There we go. Very, 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 very nice. And now adhere the Warmest Wishes die cut just below the teacup. Boom, right there. And I'm going to use just a little bit of foam tape to get that, to prop that up a bit, I think. Just a hair of foam tape. Maybe not even that much. Yeah, that's good. Right there. Haha, I love it. Okay, and now we're going to adhere this to the vinyl card base. Vinyl card base. Oh, now check this out. If I wanted to ink the edges, now would be the time. Do you see that? But I think I'll ink the edges of the whole outside of the whole card. There. But I wouldn't have to. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Anything you have left over, scrap-wise, you can just discard. Or, now, this is probably what I would do. Since I already have out the stamp and die set, I would probably stamp and die some of the, like the tea bags, the little stir sticks, the little, you know, those little things that, that I could fit on there, and then just put them in like a little box or a little thing for later, because then I don't have to do that later. And I've got this cute double-sided paper that I could choose from. There. And we can put a sentiment on the inside if we want, but other than that, we are done. Okay, these are all of our 5 cards. You made it. You started out with 11 sheets of paper and ended up with these 5 amazing cards. I'm going to definitely have close-up photos available on the blog. Also, you can print out the instructions if you wanted to right from the blog, and there will be links below to all this information. All of the products that you saw today are available at maymaymadeit.com. And again, links to those products are also below if you're interested. Now, I am going to say about these cards that this pattern just gives you the base card. If you want to add, you know, like maybe a tea bag here or more of the, you know, more of the embellishments, that's up to you. This just gives you a great card start. Definitely try this with other pattern papers. You can use this pattern again and again, and you can access the video again and again if you need some additional help. But thanks so much to Maymay Made It and their design team for providing the products today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to Sandpaper Road and also to Maymay Made It. And don't forget to click on the bell to receive notifications. And you can visit Sandpaper Road on social media, and also don't forget to visit Maymay Made It on social media as well. Thanks so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time in the next project. Okay, bye-bye.